Oh, it's good to be back, Tottenham Hotspur fans. Pre-season is underway and we've kicked it off with a big win. I say a big win against Reading, League One Reading, on a lovely Saturday. Glorious goals, lovely play and a clean sheet as Thomas Frank sends out his Lily Whites to get the victory. I'm really happy with what I saw today. I know a lot of people maybe in the comments will be like, Sonny, it's Reading, it's pre-season, it's the first game. But there was already a lot of signs there that can make me really happy and a lot of performances from certain individuals that bode well for the season coming up. So yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing with that. But before we go any further and deep dive into this pre-season game against Reading, if you are new to the Sonny Talk Spurs YouTube channel, then get down below, subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, and also let me know in the comments down below who is your man of the match and what did you make of a certain Croatian defender. I really want to know what you think about Luka Vuskovic, but we'll get more onto him as the game goes on. But what did I think of the game in general? Now, more or less, I feel like it was organised. And I think that's what we're going to get from Thomas Frank. Lots of good organisation. Now, it's hard to judge some of these pre-season games because, for example, with this one, we saw two completely different sides in each half. And seeing people and players getting up to speed. In the first half, you saw the likes of Alfie Devine, which actually I thought he looked quite good. Dominic Solanke, a lot of people were criticising him, I saw on Twitter and social media, but I thought he was all right. It's his first game back. Brennan Johnson was in that. Benton Core, but in the second half you saw Bergwall, Vuskovic, Van der Ven. There was lots of different things, but overall, if I was to look, actually, I've got the stream on screen. That's a mouthful. Thomas Frank is giving a big post-match chat with the whole of the Tottenham squad. And it just shows that's what it's going to be. It's going to be like, you know, more arm round, something a bit different to what we saw under Ange Postecoglou. And I know I love Ange Postecoglou for what he did for this football club, but we need more organisation. And what I saw was better passing. I saw a more cohesive unit when it came to defending, you know, sitting back and more protection from the likes of Benton Court, Sarr in that midfield in the first half and in the second half when it was changed up as well. Better passing, because when Romero was on the ball, and I think this shows how important Romero is for staying at the football club, it was more punchier passes, you know, breaking those lines and finding those gaps and more options actually, and just looking like we won't concede every time a team come onto us and counter-attack. I think that's the most telling thing. You know, every time I watch us play under Ange Postecoglou, you just think you're going to concede, but we looked more assured of ourselves. And I know it's against League One Reading, who are going through a turmoil, but it was good to see. I thought the fans sounded amazing. Over 22,000 people in the, it's not called the Majeski anymore, it's called the car leasing stadium, but I'll call it the Majeski because that's what it is. Just packed out, and it was really good to hear champions of Europe being rung around. But I just thought it was more or less just a better performance in the sense of, you know, you can tell there's tweaks and there's like more analytical data going into our performances. And the fact that, you know, we've already scored from a set piece, there's a lot of, you know, thought and process gone into that by Thomas Frank. He's actually, the reason I keep looking over there is because I've got it on my monitor. He's going over to applaud the fans, which is a really good sign to see. He'll be happy with that performance, I think. You know, 2 goals, a clean sheet, set piece. I mean, I heard on commentary on Spurs play, they said, oh, it was a shame we didn't get to see it, who was the long throw-in, you know, who was best at the long throw competition. But yeah, some good performances, even like the likes of Kevin Danzo, I thought, you know, were good in the first half. But the goal comes from, you know, again, Mohammed Kudus making his Spurs debut, really well whipped in corner, gets headed on by Luka Vuskovic, and then Will Lankshear opens the scoring. If you had said me Will Lankshear was going to be the first goal scorer of the Thomas Frank era, I would have been like, I'm not sure about that. But yeah, really good, took the goal well. Good to see him bouncing back after his loan spell. I can see Vuskovic maybe getting loaned out. I can see Will Lankshear getting loaned out perhaps to another club this summer, but good to see him getting on the score sheet. But I have to talk about Luka Vuskovic. What a player this guy is. And by the way, if you haven't seen it already, I did a video. It's, I think, my second most viewed video. Nearly done 40,000 views on YouTube about how amazing Vuskovic was going to be. I did that 3 months ago, and he's proved me right today. An assist, which was an amazing header. He was so good from set pieces last season, just like heading that ball on and, you know, into the path of Lankshear. But the finish, you know, Mohammed Kudus finds him in the box. The finish is, he might be the best finisher at the football club. I'm not even lying. It was absolutely phenomenal. And they've just shown the first. They're showing the team on the screen now. What played that first half? Kinski, Spence, Romero, Danzo, Udogie, Johnson, Bentancur, Devine, Sarr, Moore, Solanke. I think, that was the weaker of the attack. Like Devine and Moore, Moore is still raw, isn't he, really? And Devine, has had a few loan spells. So I'd be intrigued to see what happens with him. But I like the defensive unit of that one, and I like the midfield. I think Sarr's going to play a really key role under Thomas Frank this season. But back to Vuskovic. I'm getting distracted by that screen, I'm sorry, but it's giving me ideas to talk about. Vuskovic, just amazing defensively, but going to be an attacking presence as well. Just for 18 years of age, what a unit he is. I just feel like, lots of Tottenham fans, I've seen him on Twitter and social media, they're going to fall in love instantly with this guy. What a player he is. Unbelievable. But yeah, I'm really happy because I just thought it was just a really good team performance, which sounds weird considering that we've had, two different teams. In the second half, it was Vicario, Davis, Spence, and like loads of different players coming on. And I feel like Thomas Frank is still finding his feet. He's still going to find what his best Tottenham team is going to be. And I think from that, what I've seen so far, I would still go for the tried and tested. I think your Vicario in goal would be your best. I think Kinski sometimes on the ball looks a bit nervy. Then I'd probably go with Dogi and Poro, Romero and Van der Ven. Midfield is the one where it's interesting. I think of what the players we've got so far, you go Bentancur and Bergvall. But Sarr showed today he's got the legs to play in the Thomas Frank midfield. I think further forward, you'd see, obviously we don't know about Maddison and Kulusevski, but Kudus I think would start, Johnson as well. And then hopefully a Morgan Gibbs-White, and then a Solanke up top. I feel like Solanke was getting a lot of stick, and I didn't like to see that because I think he has still got a lot of potential and can be fantastic for this side. But before I finish off this video, another interesting point. Morgan Gibbs-White today played for Nottingham Forest in their pre-season game. I'm not sure who it was against, but I saw clips of him. Now, a lot of Spurs fans are saying, now, what does this mean for, does he come to Tottenham, etc.? Morgan Gibbs-White is a professional. He, turned up to training. They pictured him, even though he was wearing Tottenham colours. And I just think I'm still confident he's going to come to Tottenham. I'm really confident he will still join, but I think he's just being a professional. We've seen people playing pre-season. We've seen players, do kit launches. I remember Kane did our kit launch, Bale did our kit launch, and then they ended up leaving. It just is what it is. He's still contracted. He's not going to throw his toys out the pram. Maybe he might have to get this move, but yeah, I wouldn't worry so much. I still think it will happen. We've just got to see what happens by the end of next week. But yeah, I just feel like Thomas Frank will be absolutely buzzing with that result. Just what we needed to kick off our pre-season. I feel like, we've got Luton next week. We've got, some tricky games. Arsenal, Newcastle, Bayern Munich. This is the first one. And in the first one, you want to get a few goals. You want to keep a clean sheet. You want to show you can do what you can. And I feel like these Spurs players, I've said it all along, I said Thomas Frank will improve a lot of these Spurs players, and he's already got his blueprint on the side already in the sense of what he wants for them and how he's going to, tactically beat different teams and win games. And I just think it makes total sense. It makes total sense. I think Kudus looks strong, really good dribbler, really hard to get off the ball, which was good. Which is really impressive. Even I think Dominic Solanke had a really good chance in that first half. Alfie Devine whipped this ball in. I feel like we're doing loads of different things, and there was just so many different opportunities where Bentancur was pinging the ball, left, right. We're going long, we're going short. And it's not just the same thing. I was getting sick and tired of watching the same thing under Ange Postecoglou. And, when Ange Postecoglou did change, he played more defensively like he did in that Europa League final and the run to the Europa League final. We were a better unit. It might have been a bit panicky at times, but this is going to be a better defensive unit. And, there was so many good intricate passing between defender, fullback and midfield. And that is what we have to do to really, get to the top and be a better team. And yeah, I feel like we're going to see more of that from a Thomas Frank side. So we'll see how we get on against Luton. But until next time, I hope you've enjoyed. Let me know what you made of, what was your favourite team, the first half team or the second half team? And let me know who's your man of the match and what you made of players on their debut, such as Vuskovic and Kudus. But until then, hope you have a good rest of your weekend. Up the Spurs. I'll see you guys soon. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let me know in the comments down below. Bye.